numbers in these ads and requesting their free kits. And I started learning about marketing. And this is what that old offline method kind of looked like. Okay, somebody would see an ad like me in a magazine or a newspaper, or they get a postcard or something, right? And then they would call a phone number, and then somebody would answer the phone and they say, hey, thanks for calling for your free kit. What's your address? And they get the address, and then that person would then physically mail them a letter. And that letter, they would open it up, and what was it? It was a sales letter. And that sales letter would then sell some kind of product. Okay? And this is what I learned back when I was 12 years old, that this is how people were making money. Okay, the guy in the infomercial was placing classified ads and doing this process. I saw people in magazines doing it. I started getting direct mail. I started just learning all these things, and this is the way that they were making money. There's some kind of direct response ad saying, call this phone number or mail in, a self-addressed stamped envelope to this thing, and they would mail back a free report, and the free report was just a sales letter. They would sell them some kind of product. And I remember I saw that over and over and over again, and I got it. I said, this is awesome. But I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have any money to go buy ads. It was really expensive. And so while I learned it, I didn't have the ability to ever do it. And I think that that's one thing that's unfortunate. A lot of people are never able to actually make money back then because it just cost too much. And that's the beauty of the internet. A few years later, when I wasn't 12, when I was closer to 21 or 22, so about 10 years later, I started learning about this whole internet thing. And what was interesting is that as I started learning about it, it was very similar to the offline thing. Except instead of having to buy an ad in a newspaper or a magazine or on TV or whatever, we were buying ads on websites. And somebody would click on that ad and would go to a page that would say, hey, do you want a free report? Give me your email address. Okay, notice it's very similar to a real address, but give me your email address and I'll email you this report. People would give you the email address, they click submit, and the next page, what would show up? A report. And what was that report? It was a sales letter selling them something. Okay? Does this look familiar, guys? This process happening offline is the exact same process that's happening online. The difference is that for me to go place an ad, it's a lot cheaper sometimes. For me to send somebody a sales letter and email is free versus direct mail costs a lot more money. And suddenly when I learned this process, I said, this is the same thing I was learning about when I was 12, but now it's on the internet. Now people like me can play. Okay, and this again, I was 21, 22 years old. I was in college and I was learning this. And it got me excited because I realized that this is something that I could actually do. I could do this. And so I started getting into this whole business, started doing this process. I'd write ads and I'd send them to a page and I'd get them to join my list and I'd send them sales letters and sales videos to sell them stuff. And I started selling all sorts of things. Started growing my own company and started having a ton of fun with that. And so that's kind of where, for me, this whole internet marketing thing began. Okay, so I wanted to tell that story because I really want you guys to see the correlations that all the stuff I'm talking about and we're going to be showing you guys today. A lot of it's very similar to what's been happening for hundreds of years. Like, we're not inventing this, but it's a new media and it's a new way to do it. And when you understand that and understand how to harness it, you can scale a company very, very quickly. In fact, for example, we launched a new supplement a little while ago. And in January of this year, the supplement was doing about $20,000 a month. And as soon as we got our numbers right and kind of this process figured out and it started working, we were able to scale it. And by March, we were making $300,000 a month. Within a month or two later, we're at $500,000 a month. And next month, we have the potential of doing over $1 million. And that's happening within just a couple months. We can scale things very, very quickly. And that's the power of this whole online stuff that we're talking about. And this is why I think people like the internet now, because you can scale things up so much faster than you ever could, so much faster and cheaper than you ever could with traditional offline marketing. Okay? All right. So we're going to be covering 4 different sections during the training today. Like I said, we've got a ton to cover, so I hope that we're able to get it all in. But section number 1 is designing your dream business. Okay? So many people, and I'm guilty of this as well. We get in this entire business and we don't think about who we really want to sell to initially. We kind of come in and maybe we have an idea for a product or service and we start creating things and we start just moving forward. Or maybe we already have an offline business and we just want to take it online and we start running. And what I found, this is a lesson that, man, took me probably 8 years to learn. And I wish I would have learned it 8 years earlier, which is why we're starting with it. Because if you do this correctly, you can literally design your dream business from day number 1 and have it become a business you love. Okay, if you don't do this, you're probably going to have happen to you what kind of happened to me. You're going to build a business that that seems really nice at first, but because you didn't really plan it out, it very quickly becomes more of a nightmare. And I want to save you guys from that turmoil and torment by figuring out how to design your business the right way initially. And so this is the first step in that is a process I call the secret formula. Okay, so this is what the secret formula looks like. And I have these little graphics to kind of illustrate all these different points because I don't know about you guys, but when I see graphics like this, it helps me to understand a concept, and then later when I come back, I can look at the image within seconds. I can recall exactly what it was that I was trying to learn. Okay, so this is a secret formula to building your dream business. It's going to be a business that you're going to love. Okay, the first thing you got to figure out starts way over here to the left is who. Who is the person you want to sell to? Who's your dream customer? Okay, now if you don't know who that person is right now, I promise you're going to attract the wrong person. Okay, for years I was just selling stuff about how to make money on the internet, and I didn't really identify who my target market was. I said, hey, anyone wants to make some money on the internet? That's who I'm selling to. And guess what happened from that? I got everyone who wanted to make money on the internet, and a lot of those people, the majority of those people, didn't have any money, they didn't have any time, they didn't have any skills, any resources, and they just weren't the kind of people who were going to have success. Okay, and it wasn't until about 2 years ago we sat down and said, look, this is not our dream client. Okay, these are not the kind of people we want to work with. Are they? Who do we actually want to work with? And we sat down and we started thinking, like, who is that person? Who's our dream client? And we started mapping out exactly who that person is and what they're interested in, what they like, and what their passions are. And we started mapping out all these things. And we really identified who our target customer was. And I want to show you guys something kind of cool because the next two slides I think will be interesting to you guys because I'm curious that if these slides represent who you are. Okay, because what we did is we went through, we mapped out all the things about our dream customer, and then I actually went to Google, and we kind of picked we call it the customer avatar, right? And we picked a name for each one. And so, like for example, first one I said is going to be Julie. This is what she's going to look like. This is what she's going to be interested in. And we kind of wrote that out. Then I took Julie and I went to Google and I went to Google Images. I typed in Julie, successful businesswoman, and all the different criteria of what I wanted, and I clicked submit, and all these pictures started showing up. And I scrolled through it till I found my dream client. So let me show you how it worked. This one right here is Julie. Okay, Julie is one of my dream clients. She is successful. She is driven. Okay, Julie's got a message that she wants to share with the world. Okay, she values her own personal growth and development and the growth and development of other people more than she values money. She likes money, but she's more interested in building something big and like helping a lot of people and serving the world. And Julie already has a business that's making her about at least 5 figures a year. So she's got something happening. It's not where she wants it to be yet, but she's figured out all the hard stuff initially of getting a business off the ground and those type of things. Because something like that, I can come there and I can do all sorts of stuff to help take it to the next level. But Julie is kind of my dream client. Okay. Now for the women who are watching this right now, I'm curious if any of you guys, do you guys fit into the mold of Julie? Okay. I know I've got Liz and Christy on here. Liz and Christy, does this sound at all like you guys? Okay, we identified exactly who our dream client was, and guess what? When you do that, and through this process I'm going to show you, you'll attract the kind of person you want. Okay, so this is Julie. Now, you should do the same thing with your client. Figure out who it is, find an image of them, take a picture of it. Like, I don't know who this picture actually is. I just know in Google Images, she showed up and I saw her, I said, boom, I want to work with her. I want to hang out with her. She's someone who, if she came to a mastermind meeting, would be fun to hang out with. Okay, did the same thing with my male avatar. Okay, I called him Mike. I said I want a guy named Mike. I want someone who's kind of a former athlete, and usually someone who's kind of changed somebody's life in a small way, but he wants to take that to the next level and help a lot more people. Same things, he values growth over money, and he's already got a business that's making some money. Okay, so Julie and Mike, these are my 2 customer avatars, and I am pretty sure that for most of you guys on this line, you are going to fit into one of these 2 profiles. Okay, because that's who we're targeting. That's who we're trying to get to be into our company. Okay, so for you guys, you got to figure out the same thing. Like, who is it you really want to be working with? Okay, because if you don't identify that, I promise you guys, everything else, you may or may not make money, but if you do, you may end up with customers you don't want to be with. Okay, all right. So there's my who. That's the first step. Second step is figuring out where are those people at. Okay, now I know exactly who Julie and who Mike are. Where are they at? Where are they spending their time? Where online are they? And we're going to talk about that a lot more here in later on in the training. But I want you to think about it, like, because as soon as I know who they are, I can find out where they're hanging out online. When I can do that, now I can start targeting them. Okay. The third step is I need to create bait. Okay, it's got to be the right kind of bait, the bait that my dream client is going to bite. Okay, I look at some of my old offers, my own products.